We start this hour in the Middle East. Our top story is tensions are boiling over as Iran and Israel exchange deadly strikes. Just hours ago, Iranian forces said they shot down Israeli drones on a reconnaissance mission in the northwest of the country. That came just after a to and fro between Israel and Iran conducting strikes on each other. First, Israel launched what it called preemptive strikes on Iran's nuclear and military infrastructure, reportedly killing at least 78 people, including top generals and scientists. Iran hit back with waves of missiles and drones. Sirens blared across Jerusalem and Tel Aviv as explosions lit up the night sky in the latest round of what Iran calls Operation Honest Promise 3. Israel's emergency services say 34 have been injured in the barrage and that 2 have been confirmed dead. Israel claims its strikes were months in the making and says it coordinated in advance with the United States. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, called Israel's attack a great crime, while Tehran's UN envoy confirmed dozens killed and over 300 wounded. Missiles also struck near homes in central Israel. Burned cars and damaged buildings were seen in Tel Aviv and Ramat Gan. In Iran, explosions echoed across Tehran and fires broke out at Mehrabad airport. Israel says the operation was aimed at halting Iran's nuclear ambitions after the UN censored Tehran last week. Meanwhile, the US has denied involvement but confirmed helping intercept missiles. It has moved troops and ships in the region and evacuated some diplomats. On the ground, Israel is bracing for more. Troops are being deployed, reservists called up, and air defences are on high alert. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the campaign could last up to 2 weeks and insists the message is for Iran's regime and not its people. Let's have a listen to his full declaration.
The Islamic regime, which has oppressed you for nearly 50 years, threatens to destroy my country, the State of Israel. The objective of Israel's military operation is to remove this threat, both the nuclear threat and the ballistic missile threat to Israel. In the past 24 hours, we've taken out top military commanders, senior nuclear scientists, the Islamic regime's most significant enrichment facility, and a large portion of its ballistic missile arsenal. More is on the way. And the time has come for you to unite around your flag and your historic legacy by standing up for your freedom from an evil and oppressive regime. It has never been weaker. Our fight is with our common enemy, a murderous regime that both oppresses you and impoverishes you.
Iran, meanwhile, accuses Israel of targeting civilians and vows further retaliation. The region now stands on the edge with fears of a wider war growing by the hour. Well, joining us first to discuss this escalating situation that has extreme ramifications, not just in the region, but also across the world. Yossi Kapawasa, an Israeli intelligence and security expert who is joining us from Tel Aviv. Yossi, firstly, I hope that you are safe. I hope that your loved ones are well. Can you just tell us and talk us through what your experiences were overnight after this barrage of ballistic missile strikes from Iran?
Good morning. Yes, we are in the midst of a confrontation that is very violent, and we were on the receiving end of this barrage of Iranian missiles that caused the death of 2 or 3 Israelis and a lot of damage. But we have to do that because the Iranians were on their way to achieving a nuclear weapon, and it's a regime that says that it is determined and committed to destroying Israel, and we had to make sure that they don't have these weapons. I mean, the international community has accepted that the nuclear project of Iran is not for peaceful purposes, and it has all kinds of reasons to be worried about what the Iranians are actually doing. And that's why we had to act now, because the Iranians not only were accumulating a lot of highly enriched uranium, but they were also starting the activation of their weaponization program, taking this highly enriched uranium and turning it into a bomb. And we couldn't wait any longer. I think everybody in the world understands why this was necessary. And we hope that by the end of this operation, the Iranians would not have the capability to produce nuclear weapons, and that we should be able to put in place some sort of a regime that would verify that the Iranians don't try again to build the capability to produce these weapons.
Yossi, is there a thought that could be had that there were nuclear talks set up for Sunday that Iran have now said are not going to happen with the United States, and that diplomacy was still an option? This attack, Benjamin Netanyahu and yourself saying, was necessary, this preemptive strike, stopping the ability for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. And it seems from reports that it has been successful in damaging those sites. But with diplomacy ongoing, is there a potential here that the escalation and the ramifications that may have caused could have come too early, as diplomatic efforts were still ongoing and discussions and dialogues were still taking place?
You know, the Iranians were given the opportunity to reach an agreement with the Americans. They refused. The Americans gave them an offer that could have solved the problem, but they refused. And the position that they were supposed to present on Sunday was the refusal to accept that they will not have the capability to enrich uranium on their own soil, and by that reach an agreement that would solve the problem. So we, instead of waiting until this was presented to the Americans, everybody knew this was the position. Instead of waiting until this was presented and lose the capability to enjoy the element of surprise and its benefits, we had to act fast. And the ultimatum given to the Iranians was 60 days, and we operated on the 61st day. And so it's we waited a long time, and we still, by the way, believe that the way out of it is a diplomatic way. We take care of the facilities because the Iranians don't want to have a diplomatic agreement. But if there is a diplomatic agreement that guarantees that Iran doesn't have the nuclear weapon in the future, then we are totally in favor of that.
Yes, Yossi, we only have around a minute or so. As an intelligence expert, you're better placed than most to answer this short question. Now that there are Israeli civilian casualties, now that there are Israeli civilian injuries that have been reported, not confirmed yet from the state, but what is Israel's next step? We've seen the level of strikes that have taken place across Iran. Is the next step further escalation, and what does that entail?
Well, I think the next step is made of two things. First of all, the Iranians are attacking civilians. We are attacking only military targets or nuclear facilities, and that's what we do. They attack deliberately civilians, so we have to deter them from doing that. So I think what we are going to see in the coming days is more effort to destroy the nuclear facilities, more effort to destroy the ballistic missile facilities, and maybe also some efforts to deter Iran from targeting civilians. That can be done by targeting governmental targets or economic targets. We have to decide what way we are going to choose in order to deter Iran from attempting to hit civilians.
Yes, absolutely. Yossi Kupawasa, thank you ever so much for joining us. I hope you and your family remain safe in this time of uncertainty.